Your personal Bill of Rights and who has the power. Though the information on this video stands alone, it also goes hand in hand with the video on boundaries, so make sure to watch both. This Bill of Rights video is part of the Love and Life Skills series, which is designed to help you heal the relationships with yourself and others. As each topic is covered, you should begin to see how these individual tools work together. So I would suggest that you watch them all to get the most benefit. In the same way that the American government established a Bill of Rights to keep her citizens safe from government tyranny, we also need to establish our own personal Bill of Rights. What rights do you have? Well, people who have low self-value may think they have few or no rights when they really do. Or people who don't want to share that privilege with others may think that they should have all the rights and all the power so that they can get what they want all the time, no matter who gets hurt. Those are the two extreme positions, and they're both dysfunctional. The balance we're looking for is that all people deserve the same rights to be respected, protected, and equally treated. Those of you who have never claimed your Bill of Rights need to do it now, so that you don't allow others to continue taking advantage of you. Following is a small sample of those rights. I have the right to say no, to take care of myself, to decide what's right for me, to protect myself and what I own, to refuse sex, hugs, advice, help, and so forth. I have the right to be different than you, to change my mind, and to teach others how to treat me. And that's just the beginning. There's a huge list of rights in the supplementary material below this video, so make sure to take time to look them over. But here's the downside. America had to pay a terrible price of war to claim those rights for her citizens. In the same way, standing up for yourself isn't always easy, especially when you're not used to it and when you're afraid of the criticism you might get from others. But that is part of liberating yourself from external dependencies, is to quit being dependent on what others think of you and to take care of yourself anyway. Along with your own Bill of Rights, you must also realize that others have rights too. How do you respect others' rights as you claim your own? Here's some examples. You have the right to be angry, but you don't have the right to abuse me with your anger. Can you see how both people's rights are taken into consideration there? Everyone has a right to their feelings, but to hurt someone else with them is a violation. You have the right to listen to your music, but I have the right to not have to hear it. Earphones might be the perfect solution in this situation. You have the right to believe what you want, but I have the right to respectfully disagree with you. This one is tricky. Some people are raised in certain cultures, political parties, or religions, and they are expected by their loved ones to carry that torch into the next generation. It can be traumatizing to family or friends when someone decides to be different. But when you realize that we all have the right to decide what we believe and how we want to live our lives, then it isn't another person's place to decide those things for another, even if that other is a family member or a loved one. But as long as what and how we believe does not infringe on the rights of others, we all get to decide for ourselves what those are going to be. So if you and your family don't share the same political party or whatever, I would suggest that you leave politics out of your conversations, unless both sides can express their differences and remain respectful of the other. See how that works? I stand up for my rights, but at the same time, I realize that you have rights too. To live together in harmony, we have to take into consideration others' rights as well as our own. Part of establishing healthy boundaries and Bill of Rights is awareness of who is in the power position. In the power over position, one party has more power than the other. Parents have more power than children. Teachers have more power than their students. Politicians and police officers have more power than the average citizen. However, over time in democratic conditions, the power over position changes. Politicians are no longer in office and they become regular citizens. Students leave the classroom, grow up, and turn into adults. And now they share equal power with their former teachers. Children emancipate. They become equals to their parents at that point. The problem arises when parents continue treating their adult children like they're still children, or the adult children want to be treated by the parents like they did when they were little. There could be a lot more peace in those kinds of relationships if both parents and adults could establish the proper boundaries, Bill of Rights, and power positions in their relationships. Some may be surprised to learn that the patient is in the power over position to the doctor. Because doctors have so much education and expertise, some people think they need to relinquish their power to them. But the reality is, patients hire the doctors to work for them, so the patient is actually in charge. Same thing with politicians and citizens. It is the citizens who vote the politicians in and out of office. So who is really in the power position? It should be the citizens, even though that's not always the way it comes across. Without this distinction, many end up giving their power away and letting others make critical decisions for them that they really should be making for themselves. Then there's the equal or shared power position, like husband and wife, co-workers, siblings, friends, and so forth. All relationship decisions should be decided upon equally with all parties involved in equal power relationships. If the power position is in the wrong place at the wrong time, there is likely to be abuse. Students control the classroom. The child has to parent the parent. Oldest child raises the younger siblings. One spouse tries to control the other. Politicians override the rule of law that was established by the citizens. When applying consequences for boundary violation, it is a good time to take into consideration who is in the power over position and who is in the equal power position. For example, if this man who is apprehended by the police does not cooperate, his consequences may be getting handcuffed and hauled off to jail. However, in an equal power relationship, if the wife doesn't do what the husband demands, the husband has no rights to inflict that kind of force on her. However, if he tries, he may be the one getting hauled off to jail. When the power position changes, the rules change. For equal power relationships, it's best to make decisions and make change happen by using negotiation and compromise skills to get equality and fairness on all sides, or on both sides. Here's an example. The wife says, "You're always wanting me to give you a back rub at night, so I'll make you a deal. If you can just talk to me about problems without yelling during the day, I will give you one of those back rubs that night." In other words, I'm willing to do this for you if you're willing to do that for me. It's an exchange. Or maybe one party can get their way this time and the other one gets their way the next time. And here's an example. We can't decide where to go on vacation, so how about if we go where you want to go this year and we'll go where I want to go next year? That's fair. Or I'll get half of what I want and you can get half of what you want. For example, I want to decorate the house in Southwestern and you want to decorate it in country. Maybe we could give part of the house a Southwestern flair and the other part a country flair. That way, everyone's opinions are taken into consideration and everyone's needs get met part way. So those are some examples of how negotiation and compromise might work with two people, but it also works with a group. To drive this point home, I'm going to tell you about one woman's story that involves boundaries, Bill of Rights, power position, and even some assertive confrontation, which is in the next video. This is a true story, but I've changed this woman's name. We're going to call her Alice. Alice was born the youngest in a very big family. Though Alice loved her siblings and considered them her best friends, she was treated by them as the baby of the family even when she became an adult. She was often treated as if her opinion didn't matter, and those who were born first got to make all the decisions when it came to sibling gatherings and activities. Alice first accepted this as normal, but over the years it started to bother her, because when she would make suggestions, they were immediately dismissed and decided upon by the older siblings. Eventually, her hurt turned to anger. So when the opportunity arose, she confronted her siblings in a kind but assertive way and told them that she deserved to be treated equally. To her shock, her attempt to find equality with her siblings was met with stingy opposition and what became an almost abusive backlash. We were born first, so we get to make all the decisions. Another sibling tried to make Alice appear as if she had done something very wrong so the other siblings would not trust her. Several siblings pronounced that Alice was the troublemaker of the family and a whole lot more stuff like that. Needless to say, Alice left in tears. Looking at this whole fiasco from a distance, you might think it would have been better for Alice to just keep her mouth shut to keep the peace. But Alice's attempt for equality led her to a keen awareness that maybe her siblings, who she had always considered her best friends, didn't really have her back. Why would she want to continue having that close of a relationship with them when they treated her so badly and didn't allow her the same rights as they were claiming for themselves? So Alice went back to the drawing board. Instead of allowing her siblings into her intimate, sacred space like she used to, she found more appropriate places to put them on her expandable, contractible fence that we talked about in the boundary video. Now she only holds friends and family in that close space who consider her equal to them. She learned that to hold her siblings too close meant that she was going to be treated in a way that made her feel less valuable. You notice that some of the siblings were kept in close and some of them she moved far away. The safer ones were allowed to remain close, but the ones who continued to be insensitive were kept at a greater distance. Alice has the right to build a peaceful environment inside and outside of herself, and she can only do that with people who treat her with respect. Let those who want to fight and have contention fight with each other. But if you're looking for true intimacy and friendship, only put those in your tight circle who are willing to honor your rights, and then do the same for them. That is true intimacy. Once again, if you have unresolved issues from your past where you'd like to find peace, you can use SRT or subconscious repairing therapy to put negative events in the past, as Alice did after doing her SRT sessions. She still loves her brothers and sisters, but also loves herself enough to claim the rights she deserves. Though she takes criticism from some, she is showing that she values herself by standing up for herself. Can you see why the Love and Life Skills series heals relationships? Those who only think of others may be hurting themselves. Those who only think of themselves may be hurting others. The best relationships are a balance of both loving yourself and loving others. If you're watching this on YouTube, go to the instructions below this video to find the rest of the Love and Life Skills series and the supplementary material for each video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you on the next one. Bye.